Welcome everyone, welcome to Marine Conservation Society's AGM, in particular to this session, which is our Sea Champions Volunteering to Inspire Change session. I think we're still admitting a few people in, so whilst we wait for everyone to join, here's a little icebreaker question that we'd like you to answer. So, have you volunteered with MCS before? So we'd really like to know. So yes, no, or would like to. So please vote using the buttons. And then I will launch the results a little bit after that as well. So also put in the chat where you're joining from as well. That'd be really good to know because we have volunteers from all over. So a nice little introduction. So I'm Kate. I'm the Volunteer and Engagement Manager for the South East of England. And I'm also joined by the lovely Jules, who's the Volunteer Manager for the South West. And also Rob as well from Sea Champions Scotland. So we're joined by a couple of people, which is fantastic. So just a couple of housekeeping rules. Please put your ideas and your comments in the chat box. So we're looking for positive ideas for the future. So if you don't know where the chat box is, it's down the bottom of the screen, and just open the little bubble and then put your comments in there. So everyone's going to be muted for this session, but we'll monitor the chat box and aim to get through as many different questions and comments as possible in the Q&A at the end. So this session is recorded as well, just to let you know, and all the other sessions will be available to be rewatched on the Ocean Optimism website as well. So last but not least, make sure you hang up from our breakout session at the end and then rejoin the main MCS feed. So the break is at 5 to 7. So we will still be on live until 7:05. So if you want to stay with us, that's brilliant. If there are more questions that you want us to answer, you can stay with us, or you can then rejoin the main AGM feed afterwards. So only if you want to stay on. So I am just going to end the polling now. So have you volunteered with us before? Fantastic. Yes, we've got 44%, which is absolutely brilliant. So well done. But even if you haven't volunteered before, that's absolutely fine. We will share some ideas on how you can do that. So if this is the Sea Champion volunteering session, we just wanted to let you know where we are based as staff as well. So let's just get rid of that window. So I'm in the southeast of England. Jules is in the southwest. We've got Tara in Scotland, and we've also got Matt in the northeast of England as well. So our main role is to support some volunteers. So we have a fantastic team of Sea Champion volunteers that do all sorts of things to help us, and a team of beach clean volunteers as well. So if you're a well-established volunteer or someone who hasn't volunteered before, don't worry. This next video we're about to show, I think is a really inspiring window into the world of our Sea Champion volunteers and why they volunteer for us. So whilst the video is going to be running, we really like to think about another question. So how would you like to get involved with MCS volunteering wise during the current pandemic? So we're going to put that question in the chat box just to remind you. So how would you like to get involved with volunteering for MCS during the current pandemic? So as you might have guessed, we're a little bit restricted at the moment in carrying out these public events, these beach cleans, and any face-to-face activities as well. So we may not be able to do these for a little while. So any innovative suggestions are going to be really helpful for us. So I want you to really enjoy watching this video. Our colleague Tara from Scotland has been interviewing some of our amazing volunteers. So this is what's coming up next. And again, just put your ideas and your comments in the chat box, and we'll come back to them in a little while.
Thanks, Kate. So hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the evening of the AGM. My name's Tara, and I am lucky enough to work with our incredible network of volunteers all across Scotland. Now, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about what volunteering with the Marine Conservation Society involves. And we thought who better to talk to you about that than some of our volunteers themselves. So I have the pleasure of introducing you to 3 of our most passionate, skilled and committed volunteers here in Scotland. So over to you guys, please introduce yourselves.
Hi there, my name is Alice Caldwell. I've been volunteering with MCS for about 2 years now. I first started by getting involved with the Great British Beach Clean. Turned up one day and thought it was a great idea.
Hi, my name is Catherine McMillan. I am based within Inverclyde on the west coast of Scotland, and I started doing beach cleans with marine conservation in 2013. And then I went off and did the Sea Champion education workshop.
Hi, I'm Robert Walsh. I'm based in Ayr in South Ayrshire, and I specialise in citizen science. I mostly first off got involved in beach cleans at Cramond doing my degree. Been a volunteer for 5 years now.
So, Robert, I was wondering if you could kick us off and talk a little bit about citizen science, about the sorts of things that you've been doing and what that involves.
So, citizen science can range anything from doing sort of data analysis on beach cleans. It can also be looking at the biodiversity. So one of the projects I got involved in was part of the project that MCS ran, which was capturing our coast. The main focus of that was to look at the biodiversity along the shore, what we currently have, how that changes over time, factoring in climate change, etc. MCS also does the big seaweed search.
And from my experience, Robert, I think one of the really awesome things that you bring to the experience of citizen science is you really share your passion with other people. I have seen people get really excited about marine life that otherwise they either wouldn't have noticed or they certainly might have been a bit squeamish about it.
Absolutely. I think if you don't point it out, sometimes you can miss a lot of stuff, especially on the shore. A lot of it is hidden amongst seaweeds and amongst rocks. You know, it's that thing of you do have to have a proper look to be able to find stuff, and seeing their faces light up, and knowing that if nothing else, they're taking away that enthusiasm is really empowering as well.
That's awesome. Okay, so I wonder if we can go to Kathleen. So I was thinking there's a really nice connection there between Robert talking about inspiring people, allowing them to kind of open their eyes to marine life, and the school-based work that you've been doing. If you could talk a wee bit about that.
So with the schools going in, and you get the big massive turtle from the marine conservation that's life size of a leatherback that you grow up in the school and it's sitting in the middle of the room when the kids walk in and they're fascinated by it. They're drawn to this turtle and the cuddly toy animals and the big pictures. And then when you start asking them what they know about turtles, they know very little about marine life and what's in the sea. And then as the session goes on, you can see it clicking off in their head of, oh, wow, we've got these amazing creatures in the sea that we need to protect. So they then start kind of pushing the adults to take responsibility and make them take more responsibility. We just love it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I actually, I've had that experience with adults as well. I'm sure some of you have had our inflatable leatherback turtle, and children, adults are like blown away by the idea that this is a life-size model of a creature we have in Scotland. So I think that feeling of like that light bulb moment where someone's passion is ignited and they just realize and they make that connection between their individual actions and what's happening in the ocean is really exciting, and that motivates me a lot. Okay, so I wonder if there's something here about, I think when we see pollution, that also makes a really big impact, that really inspires us. So Alice, could we maybe go to you? I know you've done a lot of beach cleaning.
Yeah, definitely. So I have been involved, like Robert mentioned, at the Cramond Beach Clean in Edinburgh is quite a big one, especially in the last few years. It's got quite a few people come in to help, obviously influenced by Blue Planet and that kind of thing, but also not just in the news, people see it themselves and they want to do something. So the Cramond Beach Clean is great, not because of the volume of litter that we find, but because of the enthusiasm of people wanting to help. And also that introducing people to the idea of recording things and the fact that writing things down in the numbers can actually be useful. It can go on to influence policy. So in Cramond in particular, there's a huge problem, and the whole coastline really around this area with wet wipes in particular. And I think that really shocks people. People don't really make that connection in their head that it's something they flush down the toilet can end up on a beach. And it does in huge numbers, unfortunately, around this area. So to teach people that, and then to know that once one person's seen it, they can spread the word, I think it's hugely effective.
To be an active volunteer, to make a positive difference to our oceans, it's not just about going to the beach, whilst that's lovely. But for some people who can't do that, I think this example that you're about to give is really exciting, and hopefully will show people that you really can make a difference purely from, from your own desk.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to do some research into single-use plastic cigarette filters, which was something that was unknown to me before I started looking into it. I'm not a smoker myself, and I had never really paid attention to it. But when you think about it, and you can see from the data from Great British Beach Clean and around the world, cigarette filters and cigarette stubs are everywhere. They're one of the most littered items on Earth. And what a lot of people don't realise is that they contain a single-use plastic. Not only is the plastic itself harmful to the environment and won't break up, but it's also toxic, and it's been shown to be really toxic to marine life and to stunt plant growth and all of that. So the campaign at the time that Marine Conservation was carrying out was to try and encourage a ban on these filters. And also that was joined by Ash Scotland, who are coming at from it more from the health perspective. So yeah, I was able to sit doing it from home or sometimes in the office just to have a look through academic papers and the media. Basically took that research, and then we met with Ash Scotland was there as well. We went to government to meet with some of the civil servants and to put forward the case really of thinking about the cigarette filters in a different way, and could a ban be possible, and having that conversation. So it was a really exciting experience just to see sort of how policy works. I was completely unaware of how the whole thing worked beforehand.
And right now, through the single-use plastic consultation and a motion with Scottish Government, we're seeing the next stages of the research that you did, Alice. So I think it's a really exciting example that I hope some people might feel inspired by. I think relating to that as well, Kathleen, you were invited to go and talk to represent us and others when you spoke to the British Irish Council last year in Glasgow. Could you talk a wee bit about that, please?
I think it was a 5-minute talk with all these professionals from businesses, all the environmental ministers from all the parts of the UK, and lots of kind of policymakers and people with a lot of influence and power behind them that could take action. And it was basically stand up and speak on behalf of the young people. And what was really good about that day as well was every part of the UK sent a young person to represent their young people. So it was really good because none of us had ever met each other. We didn't know each other existed, and we were all doing different things in our area of the country, but all of us were equally passionate about wanting to see things changed. And it was a real privilege. I never expected to be asked. I never expected to speak in front of the environmental ministers.
Are there any kind of maybe highlights of your experience with volunteering at MCS that we haven't yet talked about?
I think one of the things we've maybe touched on is actually tapping into this network of people that are passionate. First and for all, for me, I haven't come from an environmental background, so it was quite new to sort of suddenly be open to this network of just great people who are just doing all sorts of different things, as we can hear. Just really exciting and really inspiring also, just to hear not just the different stories, but also get ideas from different people, and then also have that network there to support you if you wanted to take any different direction. I think that's been a really positive bit for me, at least.
Yeah, I think it's sort of a combination of what both Alice and Kath have mentioned. I think the way that MCS can pull people from all these different networks together, and sort of we're all sort of we can report, we can add in, feed into the big machine, as it were, to create what we want to create.
Yeah.
But I think as well, the opportunity, I think that it's been talked about before, the opportunities that a volunteer can go from, it's what you put in you get 10 times back out what you want to add into MCS. MCS will always multiply what a volunteer wants to do within the organization. Being given the opportunities to go to conferences, run beach cleans, speak to councils, speak to government policy, go out to all these different places.
I just wondered if there was anything about particular skills that you might feel that you develop.
I think for me, just being confident, really. That was something that was quite new to me, and I was really supported and encouraged to go forward with that.
I'm kind of the same, right? Getting asked to go and speak at that bit meeting, never expected that, never in my wildest dreams. And the fact that to have that level of trust put in you when you're a volunteer for the organisation, it speaks volumes of how much you guys trust us.
Awesome. Oh, and as a general point, I think volunteers, I really like to view volunteers as very much part of our team, and the skills that you guys have are skills that are very much part of our team skills.
Yeah, so, I mean, from my perspective, over 5 years, I've done things from like beach cleans to being able to talk at conferences to, being part and leading on bio blitzes. I think it's amazing. I think that's, being able to be, I think it's reiterating the same thing again, being able to be trusted to do that sort of stuff and being able to talk about the awareness of all these important things that we're doing. You don't think about being able to do this stuff day one. You come in and you go, oh, I'm here to help out. You never think in your wildest dreams that, months, days down the line, you could be given the opportunity to talk in front of loads of people. I was terrible at public speaking, absolutely terrible. And if someone had said to me 5 years ago, you're going to be asked to do this call, no.
It's really great to hear that that's how you feel. It's working for you. And obviously, this is not a journey that's done. There are other things, there might be other opportunities, other ways in which you'd like to take your volunteering in future as well. Ask one question to finish off. Your answer could be as long or short as you like, but would you recommend volunteering at Marine Conservation Society?
That's a big yes from me for all the reasons listed before.
Yep, I would recommend it as well. It's a brilliant organisation to volunteer for. Volunteered with a few places in marine conservation. You feel like part of the team and you feel that no matter what you do, it's valued. So yeah, that's why I enjoy it.
Awesome.
Hands down, yes. You never know where it's going to lead. Absolutely.
So we hope you've enjoyed meeting some sea champions and learning about their volunteer stories. We hope you feel inspired, maybe to sign up as a sea champion and start your journey as a volunteer. Or perhaps you are a sea champion and you feel inspired to get involved in some different ways. I'm going to hand back to Kate, who is going to answer some of your questions.
So I really hope that video has given you some insight into what volunteers do for us and why. Just before we have a look at the chat and see what ideas have been coming through, we'd just like to share some ideas in which you can keep in touch and find out what's happening within MCS as well. So you may know about some of these channels, but obviously you can definitely follow MCS on our social media channels. We do have a lovely free e-newsletter for all of our campaigns and our work, such as Beach Watch. So the link is down on there as well. And also, really importantly, you can also volunteer as well if you aren't already a sea champion. So as Tara says, you can volunteer and try and get involved in some more things. And we do have another little bit of information for you in just a little while about that. But yes, you can get involved at seachampions@mcsuk.org, and we will also put that in the chat for you as well. So I think we can go now, hopefully, to our chat and just see what kind of ideas and thoughts have been coming through as well. So Jules and Rob, I know you're there on the chat. Rob, shall we go to you first? Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first question that I spotted coming in was, can we do volunteering alongside working full-time and education? Yes, yes. I started doing my master's degree when I signed up to be a sea champion, and if you've got the time outside of your commitments to put in, you will be supported by the coordinators. Get to know your coordinators. They will help you with, expenses are covered. Look for what local opportunities are there. You don't always have to be going, hundreds of miles to commit to something, and you put in as much or as little as you want as a sea champion.
Wonderful, thanks, Rob. Jules, can we go to you? Is there a question come up that you'd like to put forward?
We had loads of great ideas about things people could do during the pandemic. Some really top ones here. Fundraise, why not shave your head? Get sponsored for that. A lot of people mentioning still doing beach cleans. So if you're local to a beach, you can still do a beach clean in your bubble. You can visit our Beachwatch website to look at how you can do a survey. We wouldn't suggest you probably do 100 meters survey with just 2 people from 2 households in one bubble, because that might be a lot, but there's a lot you can still do. And all of our advice is on the website there. And yeah, there were some really great ideas. One thing that came through was a lot of linking up with organisations who are already there. So we've got some guys on from NYSP and they're campaigning. We've got people from Marine Champions down in your patch, Kate. So if you are part of an organisation or team already, and that you can spot opportunities for ways that Marine Conservation Society can link up with what you're doing with other organisations, do please get in touch with us as coordinators, and we can see what we can do to facilitate that. Always love to work with others.
Absolutely, and it's definitely the way forward as well. Like you say, we couldn't do all this work on our own anyway, so yeah, linking up with other organisations is absolutely key. And we've got some of our great partnerships as well, for example the Big Seaweed Search Survey and other things as well that we do work on with lots of other people. So yes, very important. I'm really sort of keeping an eye on the time here, so I realise that it's 5 to 7 and I know that the break is meant to be happening now. So just in case people need to sort of shoot off for the break, I'll just go through this next little bit of information, and then if anybody wants to stay on through the break up until about 7:05, they're more than welcome. So if you do have to shoot off, just a few things that you can do to get involved with us. So starting from something relatively small but really important. So we'd love it if you kind of signed our petition. This is all about microfiber campaign, the Stop Ocean Threads campaign. That's something we can all do. Sign that petition to make sure that we can get effective legislation through. If you want to get involved a little bit more, you can read about and support our Seagrass Remedies project. So that's all about seagrass, the importance of seagrass and where it is and what we're actually doing to help climate change with seagrass. And then if you really want to get stuck in, you can obviously carry out a big seaweed search survey, or maybe head to the beach and join or host a beach clean. So all the ideas, all the links, etc., are actually on this slide here. So please do any or all of those. That would be absolutely fantastic. So as I say, the break is happening now. So if you do want to hang up and leave this session, you can then return back to the main AGM feed. Or if you want to stop on, as I say, we will be here until 7:05, and then we will rejoin the main AGM feed as well. So if people want to leave, that's fine. If you want to stay, that's great. So we can go back to the chat, actually. So Rob, do you want to pick out another couple of questions or comments?
Yeah, so there's been a few questions regarding bioblitzes, which is where you sort of survey an area and you write down as many species as you can within that site, and that goes towards sort of environmental protection. There's been a couple of questions regarding how the data and the actual event themselves are coordinated. So from a sort of sea champion perspective, usually the events are organized by the coordinators, and then they will sort of send around the emails to volunteers to try and get as many people coming along as possible. We'll sort of identify as many species as we can in an area. It can be done across 24 hours. Usually it's done over a couple, maybe 2 to 3 hours, or an afternoon or a morning. And then all of the data gets sort of uploaded to a sort of central database, and then that feeds into policy, legislation, and environmental protection. Have I covered everything there? I'm not sure. I'll pass over to Jules just in case I've missed anything.
No, I don't think you have missed much, but there are some questions about how various specific things can happen, and really specific questions about things like how do you organise your beach cleans. So do please drop us a line at seachampions@mcsuk.org, and we'll sort those and put together some answers to the questions, and then make sure that everyone who signed up for the session gets some answers to those. But at the moment, with beach cleans, it depends on the restrictions of where you are, and those are very different depending on where you are. So it's quite difficult to have a one-stop shop answer. But the guidance is on the website very generally. If you have more specific questions, do feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help guide you. But yeah, you know, don't be put off from getting involved just because of the situation. There is things we can all be doing, and we're really happy to facilitate that, and whether it's shaving your head or doing a seaweed search.
Absolutely. And if I could just add to that as well, that I think you touched on it, Rob, and you did certainly, Jules, that the coordinators such as ourselves are here to help. So if you are in a region, so for example, if you're in the southeast, if you're in the southwest, if you're in the north of England, and if you're in Scotland, then there is a regional coordinator to help you. And we also have the Beach Watch team as well if you want to get involved with beach surveys. So we've got a fantastic admin team as well. So Rob, shall we go back to you? We've got a little bit more time, another 5 minutes before we sort of head back to the main feed.
Yeah. So there was a question from, I think it's, I apologize if I say this name wrong, Elida Morrison, who's a STEM communicator at ASC, and they're asking what they can do as Aberdeen Science Centre to spread the word. Jules or Kate, would you guys like to take that as coordinators?
Oh, I sent them a message just saying drop us a line, and we'll talk through that, because that's something that it would be really great for Tara, who's our Scotland coordinator, to help with. But obviously she's not here, so I didn't really want to answer for her. But I'm sure there's definitely ways we can link up with STEM, with your STEM work.
There was one about sea champion vacancies and sort of how often those arise. Do you guys know? I don't know a huge amount about the sea champion vacancies. I know about the events and stuff, but
yeah, do you want to go, Jules?
Yeah, so in the Southwest, it's quite a big team. So generally what I tend to do is people go onto a waiting list when they first apply. But then as soon as we're going to do an event in a particular area, or at the moment, if it's online, we'll invite people to that event to come along. So yeah, that's how it is working at the moment. So next week, we're actually doing a webinar on beach cleans, Kate and myself, which is open to anybody who is a current volunteer or who wants to volunteer. So we can definitely send out that information with the follow-up to this session as well, and come along and see how you do a beach clean.
Absolutely. Yep, there's loads and loads of ways of being able to get involved as well. So just a couple from the southeast, we all work very, very similarly in our region. So in the southeast, for example, during the pandemic, we've had volunteers who've helped us identifying species for our image library, for example, which has been really, really helpful. So some great local knowledge there. We've also had some fantastic volunteers, for example, Rachel, who I think might be on this breakout session as well, who's been carrying out education and cool sea sessions digitally with her family and friends. So absolutely, there's lots of things you can do. So Rob, can we go back to you? I think we've got another couple of minutes before we have to wrap up.
Yep. There's a question regarding when we might be recruiting sea champions in the southeast. I'm pretty sure you can, as you've just said there, Kate, that there's loads of opportunities. Even if you sort of can't get out and about, there's still a load of stuff online that sea champions can help with. By all means, drop the coordinators a line if you are interested in volunteering.
Absolutely, yep. And drop obviously seachampions@mcsuk.org an email as well, and you'll come through, as I say, you'll come through to each of our regions. Obviously in the southeast it'll be me, so please do get in touch. So my email address is kate.witten@mcsuk.org. So if you're keen on volunteering, please do. I really, really want to hear from you. So get in touch with me and we can have a chat directly as well. Jules, shall we go to you just for one last question?
I was in the middle of typing. Someone said I'm a sea champion but can't access the coast often at the moment due to COVID. Sure, I want to help but can't do anything physical. What can we do online to help? So I think Kate said in the slide there, can you go back, Kate?
I certainly can. Yep.
Yeah, so at the moment we have our campaign that we're promoting at the moment is to stop ocean threads, but on the website is a page called current campaigns, and that has everything that we're promoting at the moment. So many campaigns and so many actions involved in. PPE is a big one. We've just had the Great British Beach Clean results out. We're with the threads, there's a pledge you can do. We're working with the fashion industry. You can get involved with research. There's loads of things you can do. So just drop us a line and we'll try and facilitate your ideas and show you some more ways you can get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you everyone. As I say, I'm just conscious of the time. It's now 7:05, so we're just about to hang up from this session as well. But I want to say to everybody that's joined and people that are still here obviously as well, thank you so much to everyone who's joined this session, and thank you for putting in your questions and comments as well. So if you've joined this session, which you have, we'll be able to get back to you with any questions or any answers that we haven't already answered. So I hope you enjoyed it. It is very varied volunteering for and working for MCS as well. So yes, we really would like to see you become a volunteer if you want to get involved with us. So thank you again from all of us. A big shout out to all of our sea champions in the Scotland, in the southeast, in the southwest, in the northeast. Big shout there from Jules as well, and also Rob, who's a Scottish sea champion. So thank you to all of our sea champions who've joined. Thank you to everybody who's joined and wants to get involved as well. It's been a real pleasure. Don't forget to hang up this link now and rejoin the main AGM session as well.